Good afternoon, Moore County. This is John Nagy, editor for the Pilot newspaper, coming to you from the middle of our newsroom here on Pennsylvania Avenue in Southern Pines. They let me out of the cave. We're trying a 2.0 version of this broadcast. Staff writer Jamie Baxley, who's right over here out of your camera range, has put some critical thinking and probably more than a few Red Bulls into trying to upgrade what we're doing here so we can share this broadcast in more places. We got this fancy setup going on. I kind of wish you could see it. There's like a real camera in front of me, a monitor right in front of me that I can read my notes. So we'll sort of see how this goes. I wouldn't go submitting us for an Emmy Award just yet, but let us know what you think. And we'll go ahead and get started here. Our broadcast sponsor today is the Country Bookshop, located in the heart of downtown Southern Pines on Broad Street. They've got all the hot sellers for your summer reading list, and they also have some pretty amazing recommendations if you're stuck before heading out on vacation. All right, so let's get into the day's coronavirus numbers. We've got some new news, as we say here in the business. The Moore County Health Department has just sprung on us two big news releases. The first is they are reporting 4 new deaths related to an outbreak that we first reported to you at the Seven Lakes Living and Memory Care. The health department is reporting that these 4 new deaths were all residents. 3 of the individuals passed away on July 14th, and 1 passed away on July 18th. As I said, they are all individuals, all residents, and 3 of them were men, and one was a woman. This now brings us to 18 deaths total. The second news release they gave us this afternoon was a new outbreak at the Accordius Health Living Facility down in Aberdeen. Believe 3 staff members tested positive for coronavirus, and they are now dealing with that. So that now makes the 4th outbreak that we have here in Moore County. Total coronavirus cases, Moore County was still reporting 705 earlier today, 92 of which are active. However, when we looked at the State Department of Health and Human Services, it was reporting 720. So Moore County should be updating their statistics here pretty shortly. Over at First Health of the Carolinas, which updated its data shortly, a little before noon, it reports that it has conducted 15,251 tests. Of that total, 1,850 have come back as true positives. That's up about 20 or so from Monday, and it has 256 results pending. So what you're seeing as more testing is coming in, these labs are really getting swamped, trying to get tests back in time. So you're seeing the time lag building in terms of getting results back. So like First Health last week and the last couple weeks only had maybe like 120 results pending. Now that figure's double. Their hospitalizations have stabilized somewhat, so they are reporting 23 COVID-19 patients in their hospitals, the same as yesterday. So when we kind of zoom out and look statewide, there are 1,815 new cases being reported today. Hospitalizations are 1,179. They made some adjustments from last week, so that appears to now be a new record. Hospitalizations are back up after having dropped down a bit the last few days. Now, you might recall yesterday I told you the State Department of Health and Human Services was now giving the public more data about COVID-related hospitalizations by region. So Moore County is in what they're calling the Mid-Carolina Regional Healthcare Coalition. Figures today show 131 COVID patients currently hospitalized in that region, up from 123 on Monday. So hospitalizations going up a little bit in the region. However, plenty of capacity in a couple of key issues. Ventilators, only 120 are in use. We have almost 470 available. With ICU beds, there are 354 in use. We got a little over 100 that are empty. So again, reasonable amount of capacity still on this. Early on in this pandemic, everyone was hollering for this kind of data. So again, great thing that we now have this to give us a better sense of how the healthcare system as a whole, statewide and regionally, are holding up. Okay, so other than what I just told you about the 4 new deaths and the new outbreak, we have kind of ongoing this afternoon. The Moore County Board of Education has held a special meeting to go over revised plans for students' return to school next month. So you may recall last week when I was on vacation, where I wish I was still, school administrators originally proposed a plan that called for students in kindergarten through 8th grade to be in school just 1 day a week, with remote learning the other days, and high school students were supposed to just do all remote learning. Well, today's plan was some improvement over last week. Administrators instead put forward a plan that involves all students, even high schoolers, to attend class in person 2 days a week. So students would basically be put into 2 groups, so like a group A and a group B. One group would attend the first 2 days, like a Monday, Tuesday. School would be closed on Wednesday, and the sanitation would go on in the classrooms, and so you'd have the janitors in there doing a real deep clean. And then the second group would come in and do Thursday, Friday learning. The group that's not in school those 3 days would be doing remote learning. So staff writer Mary Kate Murphy, who covers education for us, I don't know if you can see her, she's back over there. She's been listening to this afternoon's meeting, and we'll have a detailed write-up posted online at thepilot.com/coronavirus. And it'll also be in Wednesday's edition of the Pilot. Also, in other coronavirus news, Jamie Baxley posted a story last night after our broadcast about some new positive virus cases in more senior facilities other than what we just talked about with Seven Lakes. So residents of Pine Knoll on Friday received a memo stating a second employee of the retirement community had tested positive for COVID-19. We got a copy of a memo, internal memo, supplied by a resident. Also, Jeff Hutchins, who's the CEO of Peanut Village in Southern Pines, on Monday announced that 2 residents in their independent living buildings had contracted COVID-19, and those residents are self-isolating and staying in their homes. Also here in just about an hour, Robert Whitman, the director of the Moore County Health Department, is expected to give his monthly briefing to the Board of Commissioners about his agency's coronavirus response. That meeting is also being conducted virtually over the computer, so you can log in. We'll be tuning in to see how that goes. Look, the last 2 times, commissioners kind of held Whitman's feet to the fire, calling on his agency to increase and improve their communication with the public. Since then, the health department, they've kind of increased their news releases somewhat. They got, the 2 they sent us this afternoon. They've even done a Facebook Live presentation. They maybe imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? So both managing editor David Sinclair and Jamie Baxley, who's again right here off camera, hi Jamie, will be listening in and reporting on the meeting, so we'll have that for you later this evening. In other news this afternoon, I'll just go quickly through a couple of these things. Carthage changed its mind on a proposed apartment complex for the town. So if you live in Carthage, the Board of Commissioners up there rejected a previously approved permit application from a company that they had just approved last July, for 60-some unit development. Some residents raised objections about that. The developer put in a second application, and they had 2 meetings about this thing. Like the meeting last week when I was on vacation went 6 hours. Thank God I missed that. And then they continued it again Monday night, and then ultimately the Board of Commissioners up there rejected it. And you'll find Jamie's stories on thepilot.com highlighting all that. Also in Aberdeen, the town has begun sprucing up a number of its historical plaques and markers. Laura Douglas, who's back here over my shoulder, writes that new durable metal plaques are set to replace many of the worn or missing wooden signs that mark various places. And so those will start going up probably the middle part of next month. Lastly, I teased yesterday about news regarding Kurt Shelby's new restaurant in downtown Southern Pines. It's the same location, but as of today, as our colleagues at the Sway report, his place is now open as Grinders and Gravy, a fast casual place. Right now he's open for outdoor dining only. He's got some picnic tables set up out there, fans, speakers, a window to collect your orders. It looks like it's threatening rain outside, but I may try to get out there and bring home a grinder. He's got all kinds of Italian street food. All right, so that's all we have for you this afternoon. Wednesday's edition of the newspaper has been sent off to the printer. It'll be back to us around 2:30 in the morning, and our great carriers are going to have it on the driveways by about 6 a.m. Now, if it's not landing in your driveway, we can fix you up with a subscription. Remember, a lot of the work we do here, including these videos, is free for you to consume, but it costs us a great deal to produce. And that's not even counting my renegotiated contract. David Warnoff, I see, is right over here, so that's news to him, but he's getting a call from my agent most any time now. If you're not yet a subscriber, we'd love to have you support this locally owned business and stay up to date with all the news going on in Moore County. Thank you again to the great staff at the Country Bookshop for sponsoring our broadcast. They're open now at 140 Northwest Broad Street in Southern Pines. The best way to get to these dog days of summer is holding up inside with a good book. I just finished Where the Crawdads Sing 2 years after it came out, but hey, I got it through it. Great book. And I'm now on to the nonfiction Rough Magic, which was recommended by Kimberly Talls over at the Country Bookshop. As always, thank you for supporting this broadcast and all of us here at the Pilot. Check back later for updates. Again, I say that every day. Every day it seems there's always something new in the evening here on our Facebook page and at thepilot.com. I'll be back again tomorrow, coming again probably from the somewhat more cozy open space of the newsroom. Until then, be safe, be kind, and keep your distance.